Veronica. Hi, Erik. How are you doing? I love y'all both.
Hi, Mama. Love you too. He's very chill today. He's in a very chill state. We've had 3 clients today, and he's been very well behaved.
Oh, well, miracles can happen, you know?
It's a Christmas miracle.
It is a Christmas miracle. Well, he don't want to get on Santa's naughty list, do you, Erik?
He's saying as if.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit too late for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really. All right, so a lot of people in the blog have wanted me to talk about insects, like all sorts of different aspects of insects, including what holds for their future, what's in store for their future. So let me just start asking some of their questions. Are you guys game?
Absolutely. We'll give it a shot.
All right. So what is the spiritual purpose of insects? Specifically fire ants. Now, I don't want to specify yet, but yeah,
Okay.
what's up with the spiritual purpose of insects?
So, Erik, the spiritual purpose of insects, since I have no connection to this at all as Veronica the human, I can't input anything. So, Erik, have at it.
It's all you, Erik.
He's using the word evolution and not in the traditional sense. He's saying that if we want to model an evolutionary model, we could look at insects, and that he's saying because of the size that they are, because they're at the bottom of the chain, but the behavior that each insect has is unique and familiar to its tribe, which is almost like a cultural thing.
Oh, interesting. So expand on the evolutionary thing. Are you talking about cultural evolution, biological evolution, or what?
Cultural evolution is what he's saying. So if you look at an earthworm, for example, he's saying they are very tribal. They're very connected to their culture. They are a specific, unique breed of insect that finds its way and fits into the whole ecological system. Mm-hmm. He's saying everything is about owning its role and its place in the ecological system, and then as it develops, the culture then creates a balance.
Plus they poop out dirt, so that's got to take some courage. That's got to take some balls, but they don't have any balls, do they?
No, and they regenerate, he says. They regenerate. So you can't cut shit out, because it just keeps growing back. And he's saying that's indicative of a human being who just keeps needing to try to have at it again. So he's saying if you want to weave it together with a spiritual message, you might say you see an earthworm, whether it's a literal one, he's saying, or a picture of one, you might be getting the message that you should just keep trying.
Oh, interesting. Also, bees and ants, they seem, of course there are others, seem to be such a close network, and they seem to collaborate together and work together well. And I don't know, do they have wars?
No, they don't have wars, because he's saying in the insect world, everyone knows its place. Okay? And everyone succumbs to the idea and the understanding of their place on the chain. So in other words, guess what? If you're an earthworm, he's saying, shit's going to happen. You're going to get eaten by a bird.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
As humans, we see ourselves as, immortal, and we are in a sense, like in the way that we're talking to him, but we live life with the idea that nothing can ever happen to this physical body, especially the youngins, he says. The young ones live like that.
Yeah.
And the reality is that, we are not going to have these physical bodies forever in this world right here. And we're all subject to somebody plucking us out, as he said.
I'm not married to this physical body anymore. It's like, it's starting to turn. Okay. So I'm okay with switching it out every once in a while with a new model, the new and the greatest and latest. But,
and Erik is saying, and then you'll come back as an earthworm and shit will eat you.
And you will eat shit.
Well, and you will eat shit, but it's funny because eat
shit and die. is the
Didn't
earthworm
die.
motto.
And you know what? That's the motto. Get a bumper sticker, because that's the reality of life, he says.
That's true.
An earthworm
Yeah, there we go.
teaches us.
Eat earth and die. Okay,
And
well,
as
that's
far as
interesting.
the ants, they stay in a tribe, in a pack. They colonize. But look at this. I don't know if you've ever. Well, I'm sure you've seen ants all over the place.
Yeah.
That's Eric is saying, what the fuck? That's a lot of mountain moving that happens when you gather all of them up. One little ant isn't going to drag a sandwich across the patio, but he's saying as they learn it, and they can teach us to join together with nation as mountains. So
So
pretty intense.
they teach us to. You broke up, so they teach us to get together so we can create mountains or dragon sandwich. Is that what you said?
Yes, because as humanity joins together, as our forces join together, instead of this ridiculous opposition that we have, you're the left and I'm the right, let's just stop it, he's saying, and let's look at nature and let's look at the animal kingdom. And he's saying, start with the insects.
That's interesting. Well, the problem is humans have egos, and so that makes it very hard to be settled in our own role, like knowing our place. It's very difficult for humans, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why Erik is saying stretch your mentality and be open to looking and sitting and watching a tribe of ants move their food. Number one, it calms down the mind, okay? It centers you, it focuses you, and you're just in a different space. Have you ever, I can remember spending late Sunday afternoons in the summer just kind of thinking, what the hell, is it really going to drag that thing over there?
Yeah.
Watching for entertainment, but meanwhile calming down.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Now, I know that when we channeled your book, Erik, about heaven, you talked about this insect portal that a lot of the spirits like to go around it and watch the fireworks display, so to speak, because insects, when they die, just come magically through this portal, like sparkling, beautiful bits of soul, of life. Any more you want to say about that?
He's saying it's like a fireworks show for souls, and that the images that can be seen in that light are also teachable moments for spirits and souls. Because, like on Earth here, he's saying if you look at a tree and you look at the formation or a cloud or even a drop of water, everything has a visual aspect to it, and everything is teachable. And the same is true when these insects enter. They're crossing over and they're giving one last hurrah, one last teachable moment. So, in other words, the souls line up for what they call entertainment, if you will. And in reality, it's like they're looking at it, and as a soul, they're seeing things in a whole different way, and they're learning lessons and bringing them back to the soul. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right. So, do they have chakras? Insects?
Yes, they're energy centers.
Yeah, I figured. Do they have? How many chakras do they have?
Well, he said that depends. He's saying he's showing me 3 or 4 as core.
Okay, so between 3 and 4 is the core.
Between 3 and 4 are the core energy centers, and they don't have the self-worth, the self-esteem thing. They don't have that going on. That's unique to a human. So he's showing me. He's saying he's tending to go between 3 and 4 because it depends on the insect. He's saying.
All right, so maybe root, sacral, and of course the doorbell has to ring. Root, sacral, and heart chakra.
Crown and heart.
Oh, and crown would be the 4th one, or heart would be the 4th one.
So it would be root, sacral, crown, and heart.
And the ones that have 3 don't have which of those?
They don't have the heart, meaning not that they don't have the heart, but it's about an involvement of the heart.
Okay, all right. Now, can they incarnate into other kinds of life forms, like a human or anything like that?
He's saying that when incarnation stays within its species, he says.
Okay.
So Does that mean that a human can't come back as a cat?
Hey, you promised me I could come back as an earthworm. What the hell? Huh?
You know, it's interesting because he's saying that a human can come back as a cat, but when an insect is a separate, I'm going to use the word, I think I'm hearing him say entity or a separate,
Oh,
uh, I don't know, species. I don't know what the word is that he's saying. He's trying to tell me that they're their own thing.
okay.
Like they're not going to come back as an evolved human being, and an evolved human being isn't going to become a worm.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
All right. So
So
they do their reincarnation amongst insects. Can an
right,
ant become a grasshopper? Or
yes.
vice versa? Okay, so they're their own little club. How
But
cozy. How cozy.
that's a progression in and of itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, is the mass extinction of insects like bees, butterflies, grasshoppers real? And if yet, is it a dangerous development for the human species? Why is it happening, and in particular with bees? Yeah, I worry about bees because we need them to pollinate our crops so that we can
He's
be
saying
fed.
it's definitely real. It's absolutely real. And it's absolutely real because of man's greediness and man's inability to stay balanced
Mm.
in the ecological capacity. The more he's saying everything has the ability to be extinct if you don't manage it properly and nurture it properly. And yes, the bees need to be preserved.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not a made up thing.
Well, what's going on with them? Is it some magnetic shift to the poles, or I don't know? Is it, what's happening to them? It's like they're getting off course and migrating in the wrong direction and stuff. I can't really remember the particulars, but is it?
Everything
Some people think it's a virus. I don't know.
everything is on its head, he's saying. Everything in this time is topsy-turvy. So, when the geese would migrate south, from the north, are they still doing it? No, not like they used to. I can tell you, case in point, I don't live anywhere near the ocean. I got so many friggin' seagulls in my Walmart parking lot. I don't know what the
That's
hell's going on.
so weird.
Right? And so Erik is saying everything is on its head. It's topsy turvy because of all of the chemicals that we're putting out into the world. Listen, we love our cell phones, but he's saying the transmission, the magnetic forces, it's got everything askew,
Including the
including
insect.
nature, the insects. Absolutely.
So with bees, is it just that? Now, what is it mostly? I mean, could be chemicals. Some people say it's a virus. Some people say it's like electromagnetic fields. What's the big thing going on with bees?
He's saying it's chemical.
Oh, wow. Like any particular chemical?
No, and he's saying he's using the word pesticides.
Okay.
Um, what we think is good for us in keeping things free from damage as they grow naturally, we're actually damaging the human. And the bees should be an indication, the dying off of the bees should be an indication that what we're using isn't the right thing. He's going off on this tangent about organic this and organic that. And he's saying that it really, can you really know?
No.
Right. He's saying because again, you can't really ever know those things. And if people think, he's saying it's a belief thing. So if you believe you're buying organic, that's half the battle. So maybe that's a mental thing because he's saying a lot of the stuff that's out there that's labeled organic isn't really organic.
That's what I understand.
In
Well,
nature.
what can we use to keep insects from eating all our crops without destroying them? I
Mhm.
mean, I use on my plants like insecticidal soap. I just get a little drop of Dawn and put it in water and spray it on.
Exactly, exactly. He's saying that it has to be a collective shift, and each individual we can do our own part, like you're saying, use things like that, use things like Dawn, stay away from the raid, you know. And he's also showing me that animals that ingest the insects that ingest those things can then carry that to different plants that they gnaw on, and then different species
like
that
birds, like the
eat.
birds that eat them. Yeah.
Yes. And he's saying then it becomes this perpetual nonstop of this chain of poisoning, if you
Yeah.
will.
But you can keep insects away using lavender, I think rosemary,
Very
morning
one
glories, or I can't marigolds, I think, right?
marigold. And he's also saying cayenne pepper.
Oh, okay. And they don't hurt birds. Birds don't
No,
taste the spiciness.
nope. Cayenne pepper is a very natural thing, he's saying. And for some reason, also he's showing me baking soda.
Really? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, can we use something like that on these massive wheat crops and such?
Well, he's saying it hasn't been formulated yet, but they're working on it. It's in the think tank. People are going, oh, we've got to do this. But people, he's saying humans haven't connected. They've not come down yet to the small level of insects and begin to see where the erosion is with these insects. Look at the stink bug. I don't know if you know what a
Oh, yeah.
stink
I can see it in my mind. Yeah.
bug is. I'm sorry. Do you cut out? Do you have stink bugs in Texas?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, I can remember, and Erik is saying to me, there weren't always stink bugs. So
Really?
where did the stink bugs come from? They're a mutation of something, he says.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
it's like, what is a stink bug? I mean, I know what it is, but he's saying it's a pest.
that stinks.
Yes, it's a pest.
Okay, so there are truthfully insects that do destroy massive amounts of crops like moths and grasshoppers, and that's why bats, for example, are so important because they keep those populations down. They don't make them extinct, but they keep them down, and they say that these windmills kill a lot of bats. They get sucked up into the tips of the vortex, and the
Yeah.
vortex is what it's
Yeah.
not, it's what kind of tears them apart and disorients them and kills them. So we're trying to preserve the environment with this windmills, but it's really important to preserve bats so they can keep the pests
Absolutely.
that are destroying. Anything you
And
want to
he's
say about
saying it's important to know that every single thing that was created that is here on this earth has a purpose.
that?
It all connects to the check and balance system.
Yeah.
And so while you and I might look at the stink bug and go, whoa, it could save the potato crop. I don't know,
Or maybe it makes red-breasted robins so full of antioxidants for them. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Or, okay, what can be done to stop the death of insects individually and on a societal level? Is that pretty much what is the natural? What about the viruses that infect bees? Some people say you can feed them bacteria that will have like a reverse transcriptase or whatever to destroy the virus. Is that true? First of all, are there viruses in bees that are killing them in mass quantities?
He said it's not so much virus. He's saying that it's more, again, he's going back to the chemical
Okay, it's
aspect.
mostly chemical.
So it's more chemical. It's not necessarily viral. It's chemical.
Okay.
And he's saying it spreads. The chemical spreads
Yeah.
as the bee, it pollinates the flower, and then the deer come and eat the flower or whatever. And it's just this cyclical thing that keeps happening. And it's really not a healthy situation for anything on earth that's grown in the earth.
All right. Well, what can I do? What can we do about mosquitoes? In the summer here in Texas, I cannot enjoy the outdoors and sit outdoors without getting eaten alive. So there are chemicals that contain DEET and all that stuff, and there's the mum's extract. What can we do about that to make life livable, or do we just have to sacrifice and whatever?
Interestingly enough, Erik is showing me a beeswax. And so if there were candles made of beeswax,
okay,
or something that could emanate the beeswax, I don't think you can physically put beeswax on you, but if there could be some sort of candle that were made of beeswax that you could burn. They have this candle. I don't know. They're supposed, is it citronella
Oh
or
yeah,
something?
citronella. Yeah.
But I never found that to really work.
Nah.
But
That's
Erik is saying beeswax.
okay. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the Karankawa Indians used to put alligator fat on themselves.
Mhm.
So anyway,
All of our
the
answers
fact
are,
that there will be a pop quiz after this video, peeps.
yeah, really.
So is that all we can do about mosquitoes? Mosquitoes carry disease too, man.
Oh, absolutely. Again, he's going to go back to, look at the viruses that come from the mosquitoes, from
Yeah,
what they,
swine flu and yeah.
yep, from what they eat, and they're infecting everything. And then he says, though, it becomes epidemic proportion in people's minds. He said it's not as bad as people put it out there to be.
I bet.
And people get sensationalism and they panic, and he's saying it's not, it's always been, he's saying,
Yeah.
on some level it's always been. The mosquito is not a new thing. The fact that it's carrying something is not a new thing.
No.
It's just that there are more people, and so it gets magnified that way.
Yeah. Now, the World Health Organization, someone says, estimates that 725,000 people are killed each year by mosquito-borne diseases, mostly in the tropics. 10 people by lions and 7 by sharks. Why can these tiny insects be so harmful? Is there any meaning behind it? I think it
Well,
just is what it is.
the meaning behind it, again, is I hate to sound so crass, he says, or so crude, he says, is that it's leveling off. It's somebody, you got to go, you got to go. It's a population thing.
Oh, it's a population control thing?
Yeah, he's saying if you want to boil it down to the basic minimalist, he's saying, it's a population thing. We can't listen, this is him, I'm telling you. We can't go out and hunt humans.
Yeah, sometimes I'd like to. There's a few out there I'd like to have a target on their back.
Amen. Amen. And I'm sure you have a target on my back, but let's.
And I'm sure a lot of people have a target on my back too. Well, it's like the viruses or like swine flu and all that. They have to they strive to live, to survive. So they choose the mosquito as a host. And malaria, the same thing. And then the mosquito has to have blood, and, so it's a balance of life trying to survive.
That's really all it is the balance of survival.
Now, with this mass extinction of insects, will the population of birds go down in great numbers as well? Or it'll probably just grow 2 heads with all the chemicals. I don't know.
We're gonna be seeing a decrease in everything except humans.
Except the ones that get killed by.
Right. Exactly. And so as the population decreases, the insects, the birds, the everything else, as they decrease, humanity is going to only increase. Yeah. So there's a huge imbalance, Erik said, that's waiting. The world is tipping very quickly. The world is tipping. And, you can label it anything you want, conservation, or, we can call it what do they call with the drying up of the melting the icebergs, all of that. He said, essentially, the world is tipping. We are out of balance as a world, as a whole.
But usually, when something goes out of balance, the pendulum swings and it goes back into balance. It goes to the other side. It may be a long, drawn-out process, but imbalance never hangs around forever, right?
No, because he's saying we have to know the opposite of everything.
Yeah.
So look at the Ice Age. I mean, did people know there was going to be life beyond the Ice Age? I don't, probably not. Prehistoric man. I mean, here we are. Yeah. We're going to always evolve. Yeah. And, we're going to see different things as we evolve. Just like I said, we didn't have a stink bug when I was a kid. I don't remember a stink bug. Where the hell did it come from? He's saying there's going to be, he's calling them mutations.
Okay.
So mutations that will happen that will then become the norm.
The cockroaches, they survived the Ice Age.
Yeah, what the hell? Those things are prehistoric.
Man, that is why husbands exist. For cockroaches. So they can smish them, but I don't let my husband do it. I have him get an index card in a plastic cup and carry it outside. And we have this one, his name is Freddie. when we sit around the table outside, he always goes from, one part of the deck to the other. Just, hello, Freddie, what's going on, dude?
We don't have cockroaches here in Pennsylvania.
You're so lucky. You know what I don't see anymore, too? Little green frogs, in this area anyway, and little green grass snakes that my sisters and I used to catch and put in jars and put little holes in the jar and just let them go after a while. So
they became extinct. Yeah, they became
in our area regionally. Yeah, sad, because I thought they were so cute.
And again, what Erik is saying is what these insects need to survive geographically is changing so drastically, and they can't go anywhere else because geographically that's what they needed.
They can't mutate fast enough to adapt.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So what's up with fire ants and killer bees? I mean, obviously, aren't there any insects that we can live without and actually would be better off without? What's their purpose in life? I'm so anthropocentric. It's so rude. It's like, okay, if you can't do human any good, then you don't have a spiritual purpose here in the
me. Well, I want to know what the hell about the bed bugs.
Yeah.
So the fire ant.
Night, don't let the bed bugs bite.
So you froze.
Yeah, you did too. We're good.
Okay. So clue me in about the fire ants. Erik says, other than being annoying.
Yeah.
The fire ants help the population. They help equal out things in their own right. But he's saying they're damned. They're a hellacious breed, he says. So, what is the purpose of a fire ant other than to cause chaos and destruction? What is the purpose of a termite? Same thing. Chaos and destruction. Some of these things were put here so that they would, create just for that purpose. Constant chaos and destruction, he's saying.
Well, fire ants and killer bees were imported from another continent, so I think South America. So that might have just thrown off our whole ecological balance because of that, right?
Well, absolutely. And he's saying the killer bees, what was the point behind the killer bees?
Yeah, okay.
He's not even coming up with a point behind the killer bees. Like, it's ridiculous. Why did we need a killer bee? We didn't need it, but
grouchy bees that got up on the wrong side of the bed, frankly.
What deems it a killer bee, he's saying, is because it stung somebody a couple of times, and all of a sudden, he's saying, is it even a thing? He's really.
They're overly aggressive bees.
Exactly. But are they killer, he's saying?
Well, if you're allergic to them, I guess they are.
Of course. But, he's saying, again, he's going back to the sensationalism.
Yeah.
Killer bees. It sounds like it needs to be a movie on TV.
Like
the invading killer bees.
Yeah.
He's saying don't buy into that.
Okay, well, I wouldn't want to come across one, I'll tell you. But so they don't really have much of a purpose. Do they have an ecological purpose in balancing things out, or are they just bees in a bad mood all the time?
It's like a pissed off bee. He's saying, and anyway, would you want to come across any kind of bee?
No.
I don't want to risk coming across a bee or a wasp.
We just need to spray them with prolactin, the hormone of motherly love.
There you go.
Okay, let's see. Why are so many people repulsed, like me, by roaches, cockroaches, and some other insects like that?
Because he's saying it's a visible thing, and it's also it's the senses. It's the senses that when you look at it crawl, and you put the crawl right away. He's saying it's a visual thing. If it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing, if it were fluffy and like a cute little puppy, that size, a fluff ball, you wouldn't have the reaction. He's saying it's a visual thing, and really, there's a reason that they are the way they are. The crispiness of them, the crunchiness of them, right? He's saying that's their protective mechanism. That's what protects them from others.
We won't eat them? I like crispy bacon.
Well, it doesn't crawl, although your bacon did roll around in the mud before it became your strip of bacon.
Well, that is so true. That is so. Have you seen that one YouTube of this reporter or anchorman or whatever talking about this pig, this little piglet who didn't have back legs, so it had wheels, and his name was Chris, Chris, middle initial P, and then Bacon. Crispy bacon. That dude could not stop laughing. It's so infectious. Y'all check it out. Crispy bacon. Check it out right now.
I want a baby pig. I want a baby pig. But somebody said to me, and Erik has confirmed this because I've asked him, I said, can I really get a piglet, a pygmy piglet? And he says to me, you can never guarantee that it won't become a mammoth size unicorn.
That's what I heard on my vet shows that I watched.
Yeah. Because he's saying there's something, if it does stay a piglet, it's a mutation and you don't want to do that to it.
Yeah, it might have a congenital heart disease or something.
Yep, I asked him. Yep.
Well, I want a fennec fox or a bush baby. They're so cute. Anyway.
Oh.
Or a finger monkey. They're so cute. Pygmy marmosets. But here they are like 2-year-olds the rest of your life. So, all right, how and why have things like roaches survived ice ages, and we kind of touched on this, and other conditions that other life forms haven't been able to survive?
Mm-hmm. Again, their protective mechanism, what their shell is, what they're made of. And also, he's saying that there's some sort of soul thing going on with them, some sort of I'm supposed to be here, he's saying, if he were the insect. I matter, I'm here. All living things have a soul, have an essence. So, he's saying that they signed up for this, and the duration is life. And that's why. So when the Ice Age came, a lot of things that survived had the equipment to survive. The things that didn't, obviously, we don't have. Or they evolved, the species evolved. Look at the whales. Look at the shark. Yeah. Look at all of that. It's evident. I don't know what those things are that swim down in Florida. The manatee. Did you ever see a manatee?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the hell is a manatee? I mean, I was literally in the Gulf of Mexico, and one was, like, swimming up on me. I'm like, what the is that?
I know,
like,
I know.
What is it?
Sea cows. They're almost like sea cows. They're herbivores.
It's prehistoric, though, right? It's prehistoric.
Oh, probably. Kind of looks like it could be.
Yeah. So, digression, but.
Okay. Well, that's good. Will we become extinct before roaches and things that have survived the Ice Age and other severe conditions?
Never. Erik says never.
Okay. No. Now, some of the domestic insects are getting more and more dangerous too. What is domestic insects?
Yeah, what does that mean? Like ones in the U.S.?
Roundup. It must be Roundup chemicals on the fields. Are they getting more dangerous because of the chemicals?
Well, Erik says they're not. He doesn't know about dangerous, but they're getting more invasive.
And
so as they get and I've got an insect flying around me right here, right now.
Of course.
Freaking gnats. I don't know what it is. What the hell is a gnat created for, Erik? He's saying they're going to get more invasive, and again, as they ingest more of the chemicals, and they become more invasive into us, into our world. Yes, think about. He's saying mouse shit. Look how little mouse shit is, he's saying. And if a mouse shits on your counter and, you don't see it because it's so small and you go make your toast there, now, right? He's saying it's the same thing. These little insects get invasive and they make us sick. So a lot of these sicknesses that are coming, we don't know what they're about or where they're from. It's all connected to this.
Wow, interesting. All right, many things like moths and grasshoppers do a lot of damage to crops. What, if anything, can be done? Preserve the bats. We touched on that a little bit, but
yeah. That's actually it. The ecological system has to stay balanced.
All right. Why do ticks even exist? One person asks. And what can be done to fight borreliosis, which is tick-borne?
Yeah. Why do ticks exist?
To live.
Yeah, that's a good one, because Erik is just like he's going, who knows? I don't know. It's not even like who does it?
I guess just because it wants to survive, but it does bring deer tick fever and Rocky Mountain
It's,
spotted fever and Lyme disease and all sorts of tick-borne diseases.
again, he's saying that it's all about the ecological thing, yes, but he's saying all of this has to happen. Are you ready? This is brilliant. Because if we're going to find cures for things, we have to have things presented to us to grow our minds, that grow the science behind it, that grow the knowledge, that say, okay, look, so we can cure this. And maybe it got brought to us by a tick. So look at Lyme's disease. There's so much advancement there and so much knowledge around it that we've grown scientifically because of it. And he's saying these little insects that are pains in the asses are our guinea pigs like this. He's going guinea pigs, so to speak. And they're creating diseases in humans that are helping man evolve his consciousness, his understanding, his learning, his science-based fixes.
Yeah, and you can sort of like, okay, why doesn't the tick get sick from these illnesses? Maybe we could try to figure out and bring that into these part of the solution. Or why do sharks not get cancer? It's kind of like that, maybe.
And why do you got to burn a tick to get rid of it?
No, you just take it and gently, with even pressure, pull it out.
Or put alcohol on it.
No, you just don't want the head in there, is all I can say. Okay, what can be done to eradicate insect-caused diseases? Well, that's kind of along the same line, but I just basically, just evolve the science, basically, like you said, right?
Exactly. And that's really what this is all about.
Okay. It's about the balance in the ecosystem and evolving through knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And everything has a natural habitat. So if you go back to the mosquitoes, he said, if you look at the mosquito, what is its natural habitat? Swampy ass, do you belong there? But they migrated, he's saying. They migrate in search of what? What are they looking for? They need food. They need
water. And water.
Right. Exactly. So what have we taken away their home? Like, what is it? He's saying there's too many people, Erik is saying.
Yeah.
It's too people-y.
It's way too people-y. That is a new adjective. I like it.
Yep, it's too people-y.
The earth is too people-y.
Yep.
All right. Last question. What else can you tell us, Erik, about insects that would help us understand them and ourselves?
Mm-hmm. So Erik, what profound words would you like to leave?
By all means, make it profound.
Yeah, he's doing this. He's got this thing going on. Yeah.
He does that sometimes. It's funny.
So he's saying to take time, where people will say, take time and smell the roses. Erik is saying, take time and notice insect life. Okay. And notice what it can do and how it can teach you. And understand that no matter how small something is, it matters. And no matter how irrelevant you think it might be in the course of your day, it matters. Are we still talking insect here? He's saying, well, we are talking insect, but the reality is that no matter how small it is, because an ant matters in the whole ecological structure, it matters. And he wants everyone to know that no matter how small you feel or insignificant you might feel, you also matter.
Awesome. Brilliant. I can't top that with much better, except for one final question. Veronica.
Yes.
Would you eat a cockroach for $1 million?
Oh, hell no.
$1 million?
No, let me preface that with fuck no. Okay. No. Right. Erik is laughing.
He is recorded in history forever in blood. Veronica, no amount of money will make her eat a cockroach.
No, Erik is saying if you roast it up and you put a little hot sauce on it, it's edible.
Okay. All right. I don't like the white stuff that comes out of it. Okay. Oh, God, I'm getting sick. Good place to end. Thank you. And you guys check out VeronicaDrake.com. VeronicaDrake.com. She is awesome. book a session with her, and check out the blog channelingerik.com and the rest of the YouTube channel. And anything else you want to add, Veronica?
I just want to say, next time you step on an ant, just know that it's karma. Peace out.
There we go. Bye. Peace out.
Bye.